I came home 5 days early, carrying the kind of anticipation that only distance creates. Overseas assignments distort time. Weeks blur. Calls become rituals rather than conversations. You begin to imagine reunions with unreasonable clarity, the smell of the house, the familiar weight of silence, the small confirmations that your life still exists where you left it. The house looked unchanged, which, in hindsight, should have unsettled me more than it did. My wife greeted me with surprise that felt convincing. Warm enough, natural enough. But beneath the embrace there was something faintly misaligned, not guilt, not fear, just a slight stiffness I attributed to shock. "Where's he?" I asked. "Champing," she replied. "With Grandpa." The answer arrived too easily. No hesitation. No elaboration. Ordinarily, I would have accepted it without thought. My father and my son had always shared an uncomplicated affection. The kind built on fishing trips, quiet patience, and the slow transfer of small skills. But fatigue has strange effects on intuition. It dulls logic while sharpening instinct. Something didn't sit right. "I'll drive up," I said. She didn't protest. That was the first fracture. The road to the cabin was one I knew intimately. Muscle memory guided the steering wheel while my mind wandered through old images, my father teaching him to tie knots, their shared laughter echoing across still water, the reassuring architecture of trust. Halfway there, unease hardened into something heavier, not suspicion, dread. The cabin came into view through the trees, quiet, undisturbed. Then I saw the shape near the clearing. At first, my brain refused to assemble the image. My son stood barefoot against the rough bark of a tree, wrists bound by a length of metal chain. His skin was blotched with angry red bites. His shoulders hunched inward, body trembling with a kind of exhausted stillness. There are moments when emotion disappears entirely, replaced by something colder, sharper, more mechanical. I don't remember running. Only arriving. The chain clattered violently as I fumbled with the lock, hands refusing precision. My son's breathing was ragged, lips dry, eyes unfocused. "Daddy," he whispered. Not relief, just depletion. I cut the chain. He collapsed instantly, dead weight in my arms. His body felt terrifyingly light. For several seconds, the world narrowed to nothing but breath, his shallow and erratic, mine fractured and unstable. "I can't take it anymore," he murmured. 3 days. The number settled into my consciousness with unbearable density. 3 days is not neglect. 3 days is intention. Who did this? I asked, though some part of me already knew the answer would not be simple. He barely moved. "There's someone behind the cabin." The words were weak, but they detonated something inside me. I turned. Slowly, because urgency had been replaced by something worse, recognition. Behind the cabin, partially obscured by shadow, stood my father. Not hiding, not fleeing, standing watching. His posture was neither aggressive nor ashamed. Merely still, as though caught inside a moment he hadn't anticipated would be witnessed. For a suspended second, reality destabilized. The mind rebels against images that contradict decades of accumulated certainty. This was the man who had taught me discipline, patience, restraint. The man whose authority had structured my understanding of right and wrong. "What is this?" I asked. My voice sounded unfamiliar. He didn't answer immediately. His gaze drifted toward the clearing, toward the discarded chain, toward the child now barely conscious on the ground. "It was a lesson," he said finally. The phrase landed with chilling neutrality. No anger, no apology, just conviction. There is a particular horror in encountering cruelty wrapped in righteousness. Before I could respond, another sound pierced the stillness. Vehicles. Multiple. Gravel crunching. Voices. Uniforms. The arrival of law enforcement reorganized the scene with brutal efficiency. My driver stepped forward from behind one of the patrol cars, expression unreadable. He avoided my eyes. But understanding required no confirmation. Authority does not ask permission to alter power. Officers moved with procedural calm, separating bodies, asking questions, asserting control. My father's composure fractured only slightly as hands guided him away. No dramatic resistance. No confession. just quiet disbelief at consequence. Later, seated beside my son in a hospital room saturated with antiseptic light, I tried to reconstruct the architecture of my life. Protection had been restored, but certainty had not. Because some betrayals do not merely injure trust, they retroactively poison memory. Every fishing trip, every quiet conversation, every inherited belief now demanded re-examination under a harsher, less forgiving light. My son slept. Machines hummed softly, and I sat there, aware that survival does not always feel like victory. Sometimes it feels like the slow, irreversible collapse of everything you once considered unshakably safe.